indeed for such a warm welcome, and what an exciting welcome to have the fantastic drummers, thank you for that drumming, the fantastic dancers, the ladies who were throwing petals in my path. I knew instantly I was not in the House of Commons. Very different. I must apologise to you that we were a bit late. It was the traffic, and I know who to blame for that. It was not my husband's driving. It's Boris Johnson is messing up London traffic. I've also noticed that it's been raining here, and that is Boris Johnson's fault as well. So we know that our country needs a Labour government, and here we at this wonderful dinner, we are in fight-back mode. I would like to very, very warmly extend my thanks to you, Virendra Sharma, for inviting me here tonight. Thank you, Virendra. I know that this event was advertised on Facebook, which is part of the reason why there is such a massive turnout tonight. And from the stunning by-election victory, which my husband Jack Droney just talked about in 2007, until now, Virendra has been a man that stands up for this community and speaks boldly and proudly of this community in the House of Commons, and he stands up for equality as well. And it's my privilege to work alongside him in the House of Commons. He's very much blazed a trail with his commitment and his principled determination to press forward on equality. And equality is not a slogan for us in the Labour Party. It's a deep-rooted part of our values which brings us all together in commitment to the Labour Party. We feel that equality and fairness, whatever background you come from, however old you are, whether you're a woman or a man, whether or not you have a disability, whatever your ethnic origin or racial background, we feel that it is a fundamental human principle to everybody to be treated fairly and not to be subjected to prejudice or discrimination. But we also know that if people feel they are treated fairly, they are listened to, they have opportunities, that makes for a peaceful society where everybody gets on with each other and everybody feels they are all pulling together in society. But we also know that equality is good for the economy. Our economy in this country, no modern economy would ever flourish if it is blinkered by the old boy network. We have to draw on the talents of everybody, So I'm very proud that working with Virendra and my fellow members of the Labour Party in the House of Commons, we have bringing forward the Equality Bill. And that will be a new law that will come into effect next year. It's a bill which strengthens the law to tackle race discrimination. It toughens the duties of all public authorities to help people with disabilities to live independently and to work in the same way that people without disabilities. And I know that this is something which is very, very dear to Virendra's heart, because I know as part of your community work, Virendra, you worked with people with learning disabilities before you became a member of the House of Commons, and in the House of Commons you are chair of the all-party group on Down syndrome, so you believe in equal rights for people with disabilities. We all do. The bill will also ban age discrimination. People are living longer, they're more healthy in their older years. We cannot have people being told, you're past it, you're too old for something. So this bill will change the law in many ways. And it will also change the law in relation to representation in the House of Commons. And here I want to pay tribute to Ahmed and BAME Labour, because although we have Labour has 13 Black and Asian members of the House of Commons, not just Virendra, Parmjit Danda, Sadiq Khan. We are immensely proud of the role that our 13 Black and Asian members of the House of Commons make. The Conservatives only have 2 non-white members of Parliament. So we are way ahead in terms of diversity of our representation, but we are not satisfied. We need to make much more progress. And that's why Ahmed and BAME Labour said that we have to have a clause in the Equality Bill to allow local constituency parties to make positive action, to positively bring forward Black and Asian candidates so that we can have more equal representation and that the House of Commons should truly represent the diverse communities that we have and that we celebrate in this country. So that is the very important role of the Equality Bill. We want to make sure at the general election that we focus on change for the future, not turning back. And one of the things that the Tories would do if they ever were allowed to get into government is that they would turn back the clock on equalities. They voted against the Equality Bill. They would want to turn back the clock, and we cannot allow that to happen. We know that what makes this country successful is its diversity. We are in a globalized world. We cannot succeed being inward-looking and narrow. Part of the great strength of this country and part of the great strength of this great capital city of London is precisely the fact that we have people from all the 4 corners of the globe. And that's what makes us strong, and we must celebrate that and not be narrow and inward-looking like the Tories are. Now, the country has been hit by, as Virendra said, the country has been hit by a terrible global financial crisis. And I want to say to you that I saw at first hand how Gordon Brown had to take a lead in helping the whole world work out how to respond to this crisis, because you know most people did not know what to do. Gordon Brown knew right away that we had to not let the banks collapse because that would create a complete economic meltdown. He said we have to step in as the government. We can't just step back and let the banks collapse like the American government under Bush let Lehman Brothers collapse, and it made things worse. He said we must step forward and prevent people feeling that they would lose their deposits and then there would be a run on every bank. The Tories disagreed. Gordon Brown took the action, and Gordon Brown was absolutely right. We must help businesses through this recession. We cannot allow perfectly good, vibrant businesses which have been built up over the years. We must help them through this recession so that when growth comes again, those businesses will be there to ensure that there's prosperity to the future. And therefore, he brought in a whole load of changes like allowing businesses to defer their tax, and he also made sure that we have plans to help people if they become unemployed to get retraining. So the Tories said, you mustn't help businesses, you mustn't help the unemployed, this is all spending money which we can't afford. And we said we can't afford not to spend that money, we have to make sure that the country is able to grow again. The Tories, as Virendra said, took all the wrong decisions. If we'd have had the Tories in government, this country would have been on its knees. But although we are turning into recovery and we are finding our way out of recession, the economy is still very fragile, and we cannot allow the Tories to get back in and pull the plugs on the economy and drive it back into recession. So we're going to continue to support small businesses to try and protect people if they lose their job, to try and make sure that people, if they lose their job, they don't lose their home.